For years and years, and often for decades and decades, every month it's consistent. And then it stops. That's why today I want to talk about the emotional impact of no more paychecks and what you should consider to prepare for this change. Welcome to What Happens Next. Now, imagine a situation where for 20, 30, 40 years, something has happened every week or every month, and then suddenly it comes to an end just like that. I think you'd be in a situation where it wouldn't be surprising if that had a negative emotional impact. And what I'm talking about today, ladies and gentlemen, is paychecks. Now, I know that some of you watching this channel, because we get emails and we get the feedback, are business owners. I'm a business owner. I also receive a paycheck. And a lot of our business owners are in a similar sort of boat because actually they pay themselves a salary and dividend as a combination of how they're remunerated. And even for our business owner clients, the income at some point, if they sell or decide to close down their business, will simply stop. And that's why today I want to tackle the really sensitive issue of what do you do when the paychecks stop? Because I'm working with a number of clients at the minute who are going through that experience. They're trying to work out what they're going to do once they reach a point where they've got no more paychecks. And it's interesting. Even though a lot of my clients have built wealth and achieved financial independence, having no more regular income through employment, if that's what they choose to do, and some of my clients will, some of my clients won't, if they choose to have no more regular income, it's a really scary prospect. So today I want to talk about the three things that I talk to my clients about to help them prepare for no more paychecks. But before I do, if it's your first time to the channel, a warm welcome. At What Happens Next, we are building a platform designed to have more nuanced conversations in the area of what we used to call retirement. Most of us still call retirement. And the reason we want to do that is because actually the shape and size of your retirement is probably different to what your parents did, what your grandparents certainly did. And actually, I believe that we need to have a better, more nuanced conversation about the next chapter of our lives. So if you're in your 50s and 60s, and we know through the statistics we get on YouTube that most of you watching are, you're in the right place, because this channel is designed to explore all of the subjects relating to you thinking about what happens next, be that retirement or whatever that next chapter looks like for you. Now, who am I to talk about this particular subject? My name's Chris Daems. I'm a chartered financial planner and I run my own business. I've done that for 15 years now. And my day job is spent helping clients like you think about the next chapter of their lives. And as I said, one of the factors that's really interesting is the emotional impact of thinking about the fact that at a certain point in time, once we make change, those monthly income payments, those monthly paychecks might stop. So I want to mention three things today to help you mentally prepare for those paychecks to stop. Let's start with number one. And you would expect me to say this, wouldn't you? But I'd suggest one of the things that you should do is get really clear on your financial plan. Because a lot of the things that we do for clients is all about giving them clarity to where they are financially. Now, we use tools like cash flow planning software to help map out a client's financial plan. And it becomes really important. I've mentioned the clients that I'm working with at the minute. It becomes really important to give people the peace of mind that that plan's been in place. Because when you know there's no more paychecks, you really want to be sure and you really want to be clear that you've got enough. Now, certainly you should be doing that with your financial planner. You should be having conversations with your financial planner about having enough. But here's an additional recommendation that I'd make. I'd suggest that you think about all of the what if scenarios that's going to reassure you. So, what if you spend another 10,000 on travel each year? What if markets took a downturn? Could my money, knowing that I've not got any more income coming in, could my wealth that I've accumulated cushion that impact? What if inflation was higher than we've assumed? And a really good quality financial planner should take those what if scenarios and be able to model those, be able to look at those options and see whether the changes, the things that you're worried about, are going to have an impact to that longer term financial plan. Now, I always say when I talk about cash flow modelling personally, you can do that. If you're a whiz with a spreadsheet, you could probably do a lot of this stuff yourself. But my experience is that often clients need that third party perspective, that degree of independence to help them build their model. But definitely go through the process of working out how much is enough, understanding how much you've got, and then testing and trying to break to a certain extent that model by looking at the number of what if scenarios. Because the more what if scenarios you find where the wealth you've built is enough, the better you're going to feel. Point 2 that I'd suggest you do when you're thinking about that last paycheck is look at all of the options and actually work out the one that works best for you. We often think about retirement as a full stop. However, the reality is it's likely that you've got a wide range of options. Instead of taking a hard stop, think about reducing your hours over time to a point where that last paycheck continues. Because my experience of working with clients is it's often easier if the income you get is phased down. It's more reassuring, so that actually what you're doing is going from 5 days a week or whatever you're working at the minute down to 1 day a week and then stopping, than actually taking that full stop. And the phrase that I use is falling off the retirement cliff at the point where you're used to working full time. And that also gives you another advantage, because what that does is allows you to get used to having a more appropriate balance of your time. And that might be a better option for you to consider. So phased retirement is one option where you slowly reduce your hours instead of taking a hard stop. But there's a bunch of different options, because actually the last pay slip doesn't need to be the last pay slip. If you want to carry on work because it gives you joy and you love what you do and it gives you purpose and meaning, that's an option too. So my recommendation, if you're really worried about the last pay slip, is take a look at the options you've got and pick the one that works best for your life today. Now, for a lot of my clients, that would also include things like non-executive directorships, consultancy. They might take a step into self-employment. But the reality is that last pay slip and just stopping work and never doing anything again is just simply not the only option anymore. And that brings me on to number 3, realising that no situation is permanent. I recently had a lovely chat with a guy who works at my paddle tennis club. Now, paddle tennis is a new hobby for me, but something that is brilliant, number 1, and something that I'm really becoming really addicted to. And he told me he'd been a fan of paddle tennis for about 20 years. Paddle tennis has really grown in popularity recently in the UK, but he'd been doing it for a long time. And he recently retired from his full-time profession. And after a period of retirement, after a period where he simply stopped work, he went to work at the paddle tennis club. And what he now gets to do is indulge in his hobby, continue to get a paycheck, but also spend time in an environment he loves, helping people become better at paddle. And to be frank, I need all the help I can get. Now, the interesting thing there is I don't know whether when he actually stopped work permanently, he ever thought that he'd go back again. But increasingly, a lot of my clients retire, take a break, and then return to work. Sometimes it's for the additional income, but often it's to find meaning and purpose. The point I want to make here is actually no move you make is going to be permanent if you don't want it to be. And actually, the last paycheck you ever receive is going to be up to you. If you want it to be the last paycheck, you want to retire and you never want to work again, that's absolutely brilliant. But actually, you've got a wide range of choices, even if you retire and then go back to work, that you should absolutely consider. So if you're feeling stress and tension as the last paycheck approaches, understand that actually it's just, if you want it to be, the last paycheck for now. Take some time off and decide whether work can then play part of your life moving forward. So I'm really curious because I've only experienced this tension that we face when we think about our last paycheck from the experience that I've shared from clients. Is it something that you worry about? If so, how are you thinking about it? Any tips? I'd love you to share in the comments. Also, what are the things that you didn't think you were going to worry about before you were thinking about retirement, but now you worry about the most? So I'd love you to please share your thoughts in the comments, because actually the more we can share on subjects like this, the better we can all understand, all prepare for retirement better, or whatever's next in our lives. And I'd also ask one favour. I'm on a mission with What Happens Next to make sure that we have more nuanced conversations, either about retirement or whatever happens next in your life. It would do me a massive favour if you could both like this video and subscribe to the channel, because my aim and aspiration is to help people like you and you ease into whatever's next in your life, thinking about all the nuance in the best way possible. Also, I'm really curious about your perspective, because on occasion I get it absolutely wrong. And as an expert, I often haven't got the answers. And these two videos will explain how I get it wrong and how I haven't got the answers. Hopefully that's useful. Have a lovely day, and we'll see you next time on What Happens Next.